All right. Good morning, you guys. This is take 3. Sorry that we're having technical problems this morning, but I have my prayer partner, Debbie, on the phone with me now. And so we're going to talk about our experience with the 40-day fast that we just finished yesterday. So about 2 months ago, I said I wanted to go on a fast, and my prayer partner, she always is very agreeable, and she said she would go on this fast with me. So we decided we were going to do a 40-day fast, 30 days liquid, the last 10 days of that water. So believe it or not, today is the first day that we could actually eat real food. We've not had any food that required a knife or a fork or plate in 40 days. So as you see, we are alive. We are well. My energy is great. I have no headaches. I don't feel sick. I'm not falling over. I'm not in bed. So it is possible that you can do a 10-day water fast and survive and still be functional and feeling good. And I'm in a great mood. I'm not grouchy. All right. So my prayer partner, I have her on the phone this morning. Her name is Debbie, and she is going to share her thoughts and her experience about the 40-day fast. This is my second time in my life doing a 40-day fast, although it's been years since the first one. It was very different from the first 40-day fast I did, but I believe this is Debbie's first time going on a 40-day fast. So I would like Debbie to share her experience and her thoughts about going on an extended fast like this. So good morning, Debbie.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
I hear you well. I hope my phone.
Okay.
I hope my phone is picking you up.
Okay. Well, first of all, when you said 40-day fast, I was extremely hesitant because I was thinking of one thing I wouldn't be able to eat for 40 days. I was willing to do it for shorter, but I just knew that was what I was supposed to do. So, of course, I jumped in. And thankfully, I did because the benefits are well worth it. I can honestly say that I didn't spend 40 days being home.
You know what? You're breaking up. You're very low to me.
Okay, I'm on the house and that's what not to go outside.
Okay.
So I can get a signal.
Okay.
But can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Hold on, because I'm not sure I'm not sure that we are live. So, because I keep the setting off of public most of the time. So I just need to make sure that this actually went to public. Okay, it's live.
All right, are you hearing me better?
I hear you better.
Girl, I have to walk to the street. My mother's house is like a military installation.
Oh.
I found that I didn't spend 40 days being hungry. That's for sure. But for me, yes, I wanted to do the weight loss, but I needed to lose more than physical weight. I needed a spiritual change in my life. So that's why I did it. And the weight loss was the icing on the cake. So during the fast, I started studying what it means to consecrate and to sanctify. And it was very interesting because it was talking about purification and preparing yourself for whatever God was going to do, his move. And I think that's what we were doing, is just we were in a preparation stage because we know the guy's going to make a move. He's going to do something. All this stuff that's going on now that's so vile, it's not going to continue the way it's going because the earth is on this downward spiral. So I think that this preparation was the best thing we could have done. And, I would do it again. I would.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's why I think we both have agreed that we're going to take this on again for the month of August, and we're going to go back on another fast. Yes. So talk to us about how you're feeling physically.
Physically, today, I feel this morning, interesting enough, that my palate has changed. I thought when I got up this morning, I was going to want maybe some French toast and stuff, but I don't even have a desire for sugar.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I would have never thought that would be a result. I do find that I I don't know. I'm not sure if this is the case, but certain bottles of water, I can tell. There's a distinction between each kind now when I was tasting them. And it's almost like you can taste impurities in certain things.
See, I always thought that with water. There's specific brands of water that I just can't drink and never could.
Yes. Yeah, there are specific brands that I will not drink just because of their source and stuff. But today was like, now I've got to go find some water. Otherwise, I'll just take the coconut water for a while.
Wow, okay.
But I find that my palate has changed. My energy level has not waned. Like, okay, I'll say the last 2 days, I was starting to I feel weak and lethargic, but that could also be because I was traveling from one coast to the next.
Okay.
And it's a 3-hour difference, so I had to find myself napping.
Right.
But throughout the course of the 40 days, I didn't feel fatigued up until the travel time. I felt fine. In fact, there were some times when I had an energy that just didn't seem reasonable, because you're not eating, you figure you wouldn't have a lot of energy. Funny enough, I got more energy when I started the water fast than when I was just doing the liquids and the juices and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's because once you get any type of sugar out of your body, your body switches over to just burning the fat off.
Yeah.
And once you get all of that out of your system, that has been a constant for me, whether I was fasting or whether I was doing like Atkins or South Beach, any of those that require you get the white sugar, white flour out of your system. 3 days out of that, my energy would always go through the roof. So I totally understand that 3 days into the water fast that you started to feel like that.
I think, though, also, to your point, I think the water fast is what changed my appetite for sugar. Because I don't really, again, we're supposed to be buying a birthday cake for one of my sisters, and I don't have it. I know I'm not going to eat any of it. I don't have a desire for the sugar at all.
Okay.
And I'm not going to force it.
Right.
I'm going to ride this out. Because the sugar is really not the best thing for us anyway.
No, it's not. And the crazy thing is, so, I think when you start out thinking, I cannot have solid food for 40 days, that can be intimidating.
It sure was for me.
One of the things that I did for preparation going into the fast so that I did not feel deprived and I didn't want to endure certain because they're really mental battles. I didn't want to go 40 days craving food and then have a breakdown. So what I tried to do before the fast started was I knew that there were certain things that I liked and that I was craving. Hi, Elizabeth, you're addicted to sugar. Yeah, so am I. But I'll tell you. So was I, right? Because I don't know that I am anymore. And that's the beauty of it. So what I did in preparation for going on this fast was I had the few things that I thought I would crave and miss the most. I made sure that I ate those the week prior to the fast.
I think I did something like that too.
Yeah, so this way I didn't go into the fast craving those things. I had satisfied my craving for them, and then I was able to take on the fast with my mind focused. But I think one of the major things is, so let me just kind of back up from a more like spiritual level and how I even got onto some of this. I listened to a pastor by the name of Dr. Kevin A. Williams out of Greensboro, North Carolina.
No,
and, what?
I'm sorry, there's a little dog down here.
Oh, okay.
He looks like a little skunk.
Oh, God.
Don't go in the street.
Oh.
I'm sorry, ladies.
That's okay. So he just did, about 2 months ago now, he just did a 40-day water fast. And he came off of it, and he's now back on his second 40-day water fast. So in 2021, he will have done a minimum of 80 days of just water. Wow. And his energy and his focus, I mean, this man grinds. So he's running a church. During his 40-day fast, he just got a book published. He has started an investment group with some people in his congregation. This man goes nonstop. He's in the gym working out 5 a.m. every morning. Now, to think that you can keep up that pace on 40 days of just water, you wouldn't think that you could do it. But you can, because one of the things that he said, he started out at 205 pounds. He ended the first 40-day fast at somewhere around 167 pounds.
That's a lot.
Right.
That's a lot.
Right. Now, typically when you water fast, traditionally you will tend to drop about a pound a day.
That's because he did just straight water, right?
If you do just straight water. And that's been my experience. I did not have that experience this go round. It was a little bit less. And I don't really know what to attribute that to. But once your body...
Because we didn't do water completely, too.
No, but but if you follow the train of thought that, or my past experience where you lose a pound a day of water, just in the water component. So I lost, from what I gauged, I didn't get on the scale until 2 weeks into the fast. So from the time I started calculating it until to yesterday, I am down 15 pounds. Now, it could be, I could have dropped 20 pounds. I could have dropped 25 pounds. I don't know, because I didn't calculate it. But the 10 days of water, I should have been down 10 pounds alone, you know? And so I was monitoring it. I was not losing that at that rate. Now, I don't know why. The first time I did that water fast, you know, I was considerably younger. I had my thyroid intact. I've had my thyroid removed since then. So a lot of times, it gets a little tricky with my thyroid medication and my levels going out of whack. I don't really know what to attribute it to, but I did not lose the pound a day, which is okay. I'm going to continue to go into the gym and work out and change my eating habit. But,
you know, excuse me, Allison, one thing you said is, I would like to take as a challenge on our next fast.
Okay.
Is we both have a book project.
Yes.
And if we can say during this 30-day
Good morning,
fast,
Trina.
we will complete a certain portion of that project, whether it be publishing or completing the book. I would like to take that on.
I will too. So we will throw that into our August fast. Yeah, absolutely.
So we come out with an accomplishment, you know, in addition to the spiritual growth, in addition to the health component.
We'll have something tangible. Yeah, I agree. And I will take that on. So that'll be a blessing.
Yeah.
But you know, go ahead.
I strongly recommend a fast. And again, I was a hesitant one of the two, but I highly recommend it for spiritual purposes. Because again, we know that God is moving. We know He's not going to sit still. And I want to be in on that next move. I don't want to miss it. And I just remember reading in Chronicles and in Exodus and some other, Job and some other verses in the Bible where he said, prepare yourself, sanctify your house, consecrate, because I'm going to move. And I feel that this period of consecration or fasting is critical to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it serves a couple of purposes, right? So in the spiritual world, some of the ministers that I have listened to over the last 4 weeks, I'm hearing the same word being repeated: famine, 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 famine. There will be a famine, there will be a famine, there's going to be a food shortage. I keep hearing people prophesy this. And so I think it is really important for us to be in tune with what is going on. And not only that, but to have our bodies in great physical shape. And so one of the things, you know, dealing with this virus and all of these things that are going on, I've listened to certain doctors give their opinion on the state of your body and how your body is going to be able to handle some of these things. And those with diabetes, pre-diabetes, these elevated sugar levels and things like that, they're having a problem with it. So one of the things that I've heard the doctor say is, before we get into fourth quarter, get your sugar levels under control. And so this fast for me was instrumental in me trying to get my sugar levels under control and getting myself in alignment and used to not consuming the amount of sugar that I was having. And it wasn't just dessert. Like, I'm a big dessert fan. I'm a big chocolate lover. But I also realized one thing about myself is I was drinking tea every day. And I drink tea. I started drinking tea. Now, you guys know, everybody on here knows that I'm also a hair blogger. And so I had started to drink nettle tea every day in an attempt to help reverse some of the hair loss. But what I realized about myself was, in drinking two cups of tea a day and green tea and things like that, I was putting sugar in it, not sugar, white sugar. I was putting honey in it, and I was putting agave in it. And although I had transitioned from white sugar, it still was not good. And I was still keeping my palate trained to have that sugar rush and sugar, satisfy the sugar craving every day. But going into this water portion of it, I withdrew from all of that. So when I ran out of honey, I didn't even go to the store to buy any more. In fact, I flushed the end of my agave down the sink just because I didn't want to be tempted to put it in anything. And so this is a good exercise in discipline. Yes. It's about taking control of your body and not letting your body and your flesh control you, because there are days and times where I have fasted for much shorter periods of time, even like 7-day fast, where I was dipping my finger in something, or I would break down and I would take 3 or 4 spoonfuls of something, and now I've got to extend the fast an extra day.
Yes. Yeah,
but this time both of us can say that we did not do that.
Yes.
We did not break the fast, and we're not now having to make up days on the back end of it. We were able to get through this fast in 40 days and keep the fast intact and walk it out and accomplish what it is that we set out to do. And so I think, Debbie, in and of itself, that is a great victory and an accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
And I'll say I feel tremendous. I've been up and out to the store already this morning. I got up, I showered, I went out. I feel great. My energy is high. And again, to say, you would think for the two of us coming off of 10 days of water, no solid food, for 30 days, I'm not sluggish. I don't have headaches. I'm not nauseous. I'm not irritable. I feel wonderful. And when I finish this, I'm going to be in the gym today. I'm going to go back. So one of the things that I heard while we were in the water portion of this, I heard a doctor say, because you guys know I'm in the gym. I try to be in the gym 5 days a week, an hour to 90 minutes a day. And so I started studying water fasts from, I saw on YouTube a couple of videos that said like the benefits of water fasting. So I said, you know what, let me tune into these doctors and see what they have to say about water fasts. And one of them that runs a clinic, and he puts his clients on water fasts for health reasons, to reverse diseases. He said when you water fast, you should not be in the gym working out, because it causes your body, and I never knew this, but I've never researched water fasting to that degree before. He said when you water fast and you're in the gym, it's causing your body to burn your muscle as opposed to burning off the fat. So when you water fast, you really want to relax and take it easy and do minimal activities so that your body will detox and get rid of the excess fat. And we know that toxins live, from what I understand, your toxins accumulate fat within it. So to get rid of the fat deposits, it's also eliminating the toxins from your body. So that's a great health benefit and a health boost for us as we try to get our bodies into tip-top shape to deal with whatever is coming in the fall in terms of any viruses that surface and circulate. Yeah, but let's talk about this from like a spiritual component, because one of the things that we, when you're fasting, you're not, the goal is not fasting for weight loss. When you're trying to get in tune and in alignment with what the Lord is doing, is that consecration that you spoke of, the time that we spend in prayer, the time that we spend in the Word. And for me, I love prayer. So prayer is very easy for me to do. I love to get up in the morning and spend my time in prayer. I love to pray at midnight. I like to pray at 3 a.m. What I thought for me, I didn't make the progress that I wanted to make in terms of spending the time in the Word. So I will play the audio Bible, and I will go to sleep to the audio Bible. But to actually sit and read my Bible, like sit at my desk or sit at my table and actually read the Bible as much as I would like to, I did not accomplish that. So that is something that I want to take on for the August fast, is to really maybe set a goal for myself in how many chapters and how many books I want to get through in 30 days. So what is your thought on that? I see you're stronger. You have more discipline in terms of sitting and making sure that you're in your Word each and every day, and you are, accomplishing that. For me, that is where I kind of fall off.
For me, I found that during this fast, I only read scriptures on consecration,
Okay,
and sanctification. So I went from Exodus to First Peter. So I didn't get through the whole thing, actually. I only got to the book of Ezekiel from Genesis, and which was more than halfway through. I still have about 8 more scriptures to read. But I found that I had questions about what does it mean to consecrate? What does it mean to be sanctified? And what's the difference? And then I just let the Holy Spirit speak to me. And the sanctification, one of the definitions was to set apart for special use or purpose, to make holy or sacred, to sanctify spirit, heart, mind, soul, and body. So you are set apart for a specific purpose. Consecration is a purification process. But again, all we have to do is say yes, and God does the purifying, because we can't clean ourselves up.
right.
He does that. 1 Samuel 16:5 says, consecrate yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. But this is what what Samuel said to Jesse when he was going to anoint David to be king. And you just couldn't come any old way into this next move that God is doing. You had to be. It's like you going to somebody's house, or you going to a wedding. You just can't show up any old way. You actually got to get cleaned up.
Right.
Comb your hair, take a shower, brush your teeth. Well, I look at it sort of like that, where he's saying, no, get yourself straight, go in the bathroom, clean up, and then come and see what I'm going to do. Come into my presence now. I was 2 Corinthians 7:1 says, because I don't know where. Okay, I'll read it. Therefore, since we have these promises, dear friends, let us purify ourselves or sanctify ourselves from everything that contaminates body and spirit, perfecting holiness out of the reverence for God. And the New Living Translation says, because we have these promises, dear friends, let us cleanse ourselves from everything that can defile our body or spirit, and let us work towards complete holiness because we fear or revere God. And this 40-day fast was a time to do a purification of our bodies. And as we were praying and reading the Word and worshiping, we were bringing ourselves into sanctification first. And then when we say worship, because I know you're a praiser and a worshiper, that actually is part of sanctification, is what I learned. And David did that. In fact, David's period of sanctification was happening when he was out in the wilderness. You know, when he was a little boy out there feeding those sheep and taking care of his father's flock, he was out there worshiping the whole time. He was writing, he was singing and all that. But guess what that did? That prepared him for Goliath.
Right.
Because he was set aside. Joseph's time in prison, he was alone. All this stuff was happening to him. Who did he have to talk to but God? That prepared him for what? His next move was to be the second in charge in the Egyptian empire. So I believe that this sanctification is important, and I learned that just through, what I was reading. I can actually post the scriptures if you want, Allison, and I'll give them to you, and you can post them.
You can post. I either way. You feel free to post them, or I can post them. That's fine.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. And I just learned that if we would just lay down, the Hebrews 12 says, lay down, what was it? Hebrews 12:1, the weight that so easily encumbers us. And, for some people, that weight might be some sugar. For others, it might be chocolate. For others, it might be a steak. I mean, it's practical. For some people, the weight might not be food, or it might be some other kind of vice. But whatever vice it is, a vice is something that clamps tight. And it holds whatever it's holding still. So whatever the vice is, that's what he's saying to lay down. And before the fast, I felt my appetite going out of control. I would eat when I was full, just because it was there.
Submit, yeah. Yes, it was.
And it was always, next time I won't do it. I eat it now because tomorrow I'm not going to do this. The next day, I'll eat it now because tomorrow I'm not going to do this. And my pants are getting tight, but I'll work this out. And so I had a vice. Some people, it might be drugs. Mine was becoming food.
Mine has always been food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's always been food. And, you will hear different doctors, or I have heard, let me say it this way, I have heard over the years different doctors talk about, Elizabeth, this is for the two of us, they have talked about the sugar addiction being...
This guy, he was a Jew, and he accepted Jesus as his Savior, and he was he was just morbidly obese. He had diabetes. He was dying because of his diet, and he knew it. And he told me, he said, sis, you know why I became a Christian? Because I read that part in the Bible about when you get to heaven, you're going to feast at a banquet table. He said, I'm going to get to heaven and eat my way through the kingdom. I laughed. I was like, dude, well, why don't you try to stay alive now? He's like, why? I can get up there and eat forever. So he's probably dead now, because he was in his 40s when I was in my 20s.
Wow.
But physically, he was huge. But he didn't realize that he had an earthly purpose, because he was so hooked on food.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I got out of, the realizations that I got out of my relationship with food during this fast, was that it was entertainment. So you'll hear people say that some people eat, you're an emotional eater, you're a recreational eater. There are different reasons why people think that, they eat. For me, halfway through this fast, I started to realize that it wasn't always hunger, that it's something to do. It's entertaining and it's pleasurable, but it wasn't necessary. When you start to realize that we were surviving off of fresh made juices and smoothies, and we were getting all of the nutrition that we needed.
And feeling better.
Right. The mental fog, that brain fog starts to leave you.
Yes.
You don't feel like you need that 3 p.m. nap. As my clothes started to get looser, it's encouraging to keep going on.
That's right.
But I started to realize, even during the smoothie part of it, that there are ways that you could eat and satisfy your bodily need for the food, and you can find things that are pleasurable that are not causing your body to deteriorate, your health to deteriorate. Like, one of the things that I realized when we were on the smoothie portion was, I heard somebody mention, maybe it was you, Debbie, I don't even know. I heard somebody talk about throwing dates in your smoothie as a sweetener. And so I went to the store and I bought the dates. Elizabeth, maybe this will work for you. I don't know if you do smoothies or anything like that, but I started to throw dates into my smoothie to sweeten it, so that I wasn't relying on agave or anything like that. That was still causing me to be sluggish. So
another thing, Allison, with the dates, was cacao powder. It's like that cocoa powder, the organic cacao powder, because dark cocoa is actually very good for your body and your immune system.
I was having that every day.
Trader Joe's.
I was having that cocoa powder in my smoothies every day because my favorite smoothie, and this served as my craving for dessert, was I would take oat milk. So I was trying to get off of dairy. So I now buy oat milk, and I would put the oat milk, 8 ounces of oat milk in the blender. This is delicious, you guys. For anybody who likes the frappes at McDonald's, or if you like the frappes at Starbucks, this is an excellent way to, I'm going to tell you how I make it. It's an excellent way to make it at home and make it healthy, and you know exactly what is going in it. And so I would take 8 ounces of oat milk, put that in my blender. I would take 1.5 to 2 bananas and peel them first and then stick them in the freezer. And I would get the 100% organic cocoa powder. And then I bought myself some organic cocoa, the chocolate bar that is like 90% cocoa. And so I would put the oat milk in the blender, 8 ounces of oat milk. Get your bananas, put 1.5. You can start with 1.5. It's to taste. 1.5 bananas in the blender. I would take about a tablespoon of the cocoa powder, throw that in there, and then because I love chocolate chips and I like the taste of chocolate, I would throw a couple of squares of the organic dark chocolate in the blender as well. And sometimes, now this may seem weird to you guys, but I happen to have had a couple of avocados that were in the house that were going bad. And
That's
so
gonna make it creamy.
I took one of my avocados. You can start maybe with a half or a quarter of an avocado, and some days I threw an avocado in the blender. Now you don't have to do that.
It's not gonna change the flavor at all.
It did not change the flavor. You could not tell that the avocado was in there. So you're getting your healthy fats in there. You're getting your potassium from the bananas. You're getting all the nutrients from the organic dark chocolate. And you're not consuming the dairy because you were having the oat milk. And then if you want, you can actually throw in maybe a few ice cubes. I didn't need them because my bananas were frozen. But it blends up beautifully, and you can add more or less cocoa powder to taste. And it's delicious. And it gave me the satisfaction because one of my big things was I used to like the chocolate chip frappe from McDonald's. And so that kind of gives it that flavor of having chocolate chips, but you're using the organic dark chocolate. And so that was delicious. And
let me give you my version of that.
Okay.
Because I did the same thing. I didn't use bananas.
Okay.
I'd only use bananas if I did vanilla. But I used, I used some dates. I used coconut water because I wanted to stay off dairy like yourself.
Okay.
I used... so it was coconut water, a little, maybe like a tablespoon of dried oatmeal, uncooked.
Okay.
Put that in there. Put a whole avocado. I soaked the dates, the 3 dates. I would soak them so they wouldn't be hard.
Okay.
And then I'd take the pit out and I'd put the 3 dates in. I'd put in like a half of a handful of chopped greens. I use kale.
Okay.
If you don't put a whole lot in, you don't really taste it. And then I put my cacao powder in. And I also use a little sea moss, just a little sea moss, because sea moss will make it a little salty. So I just put a tad bit of sea moss in it, and I blend that up. And depending on how much coconut water I put in, it would either be a pudding or it would be a shake.
Wow.
So I felt like having more of a pudding because of the consistency of the avocado, and I felt like making a pudding. I would just put 8 ounces. If I wanted it more, like a shake, I put 16 ounces. And that's how I lived.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, and it was good too.
Wow. Now I will say I did add agave into my banana smoothie because that dark chocolate, it is very bitter. And so
Yes.
to give me that extra sweetness that I like, I did put agave in there and sweetened it to
Yeah.
taste. And then, so, like I said, in the end, I ended up having to train myself to come off of it
Yeah.
because,
Now, I have also done like a teaspoon or so of maple syrup because I
okay.
didn't want to touch sugar. I didn't do that all the time. It depends on how much water I put in. I mean, coconut water I put in.
Okay.
Then there was also times when I had bought a coconut prior to the fast, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to put this in my smoothies. So I just put it in my smoothies. And then another thing that I did, which gave the chocolate shake a nice taste. You had the coconut in it. Another
Okay.
thing I did was we like you did, we were juicing different fruit and vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, ladies, what I discovered, I don't know if I spoke about this before, but what I discovered during the smoothie part of this is pineapples and cucumbers in the blender make an excellent smoothie. Just those two ingredients. You don't even need anything else. So what I did was and I didn't know it was a thing. When I looked this up on the internet, there are all kinds of recipes for pineapples and cucumbers. You could either throw them in the juicer or you can throw them in the blender. So what I did was I had a fresh pineapple in the house. So I cut that, I cubed it, I threw it in the freezer, and then I had a cucumber and you wash it good. I didn't even peel it. And I threw the two of those in the blender. The first time, because both ingredients were cold, I didn't need any ice, and it was delicious. The second time I did it, they were both room temperature, so I ended up throwing like a handful or maybe, about a handful of ice in the blender with it, and it whipped up beautifully, and it was frothy, and it was kind of like a nice icy, and it wasn't, I'm not going to say creamy because I'm saying it was a kind of more frothy, but it made like a Slurpee. That's what it was kind of like. It whipped up like a Slurpee. And that was...
We can do everything. So we can eat our own version of Slurpees.
Yeah.
During my fast, I blended some coconut water, fresh strawberries, and banana. And it wasn't for me. It was for my son.
Okay.
And I put it in we have these popsicle makers. I put it in, and those were his popsicles.
I can see that.
And he said they were sweet.
Yep. I can see that. One week I had some strawberries that were super, super sweet.
Yes.
And I threw those in the blender, and I don't remember anymore what I threw them in the blender with, but it was phenomenal. It was absolutely delicious. Yeah, so those are kind of like making your own Slurpees at home. And they are great. And yes, Kimberly, I love avocados, and I'm a big fan of cilantro. Now, I haven't tried cilantro in a smoothie, so I will try that.
Neither have I.
Yeah, but I love the flavor of cilantro. And a lot of times I will take an avocado and just peel it and mash it up by itself with some cilantro and some salt, and I'll just eat that as a snack.
That's a good salad too.
So I can imagine.
I had cilantro salad like that.
And I'll use that even in place of salad dressing sometimes, just a mashed avocado with cilantro and salt. And I will just...
Get some.
Yeah.
You're going to make me go get some today.
Yeah. And I use that in place. It makes a great salad dressing. If you don't want to take in all of the preservatives and things that are in salad dressing, that's what I do because I like avocados like that, and I do that. So that was great. So anyway, you guys, we just wanted to come on and encourage you and tell you that it's possible. I never thought I could do 10 days of water. I did 5 days of water in 2018, like I said before. Came off, ate for 3 days, went back, did 3 days of water. I lost 12 pounds over the course of that from the beginning to the end. My weight loss is clearly slowing down during the course of this. But you can push yourself to do something that you have never done before. Good morning, Mimi. But you know, and I had somebody say to me when I put up the post yesterday, I do my annual picture of myself for my hair blog with no makeup, no filters and things like that, just all natural, trying to get people to not only embrace your natural hair and I'm always transparent about the struggles that I go through, trying to get women to also embrace your whole body, embrace the skin that you're in. So every year I post a picture of myself, no makeup, no filters, good morning. And I just show all of my flaws in my face. I don't even let my hair out because I don't want anything to distract the person looking at the picture from the message that I'm trying to communicate. And I'm trying to communicate, love yourself the way you are, be your biggest fan, and embrace your flaws, and you have to work with them. So, you know, in the post I was talking about right here in my pictures, you'll see right here, I have scarred skin from the nail salon. When they would wax my eyebrows, they would also wax the middle. And so one of the technicians said, she said, it looks like they burned you, like they made the wax too hot. So about, I guess 6 years ago now, I start a room in Clubhouse. I could start a room in Clubhouse one day, Mimi. Yeah, that's a good idea. So I have this, what appears to be permanent scarring right here from them constantly putting that wax here, or one day when maybe she really did burn me. So I have this permanent scar now. And so I hate it, and the camera accentuates it, but there's not much that I can do, right? So I have to learn to live with that unless eventually it fades or whatever. And then the same thing with waxing my lip. I have all of this scarring over my lip from the wax. And so, there's nothing I can do about it. I have to deal with it every day when I look in the mirror. And if you guys ever see me in person, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this big old scar up here, and you're going to see all this damaged skin over my lip. So I post a picture every year exposing it, but just saying we have to learn to love ourselves and be happy with the skin that you're in, and you are God's creation. And so I post that picture annually. And so, I hope that encouraged somebody. And to that end, we wanted to come on and talk about fasting and encourage those of you who have not been on a fast, who are thinking about a fast. And like I said, when I put up this post yesterday, in the post, I announced that I would be coming on today to talk about the fast. And one of my friends said that he was thinking about going on a fast. He would like to fast. So I said I strongly encourage it. So we just wanted to come on and share our thought and our experience with the fast, and let you know that it is possible to push yourself to do things that you never thought that you could do. I never thought I could do 10 days of water, honestly. I never thought I could. But once you make up your mind and you commit to it in your mind, it registers in your mind, and you have settled in your heart that you are not going to eat for this 10 days, it is able to carry you through. And it became easy. I didn't even think about coming in the kitchen and cooking food. I just had my eye on the prize. I had my eye on the end of the fast and what I could do in terms of getting to a higher level spiritually, detoxing my body, shedding some of the excess weight, feeling good, feeling vibrant, coming out of it, and knowing that when you fast like that, when you go on a water fast and your body is not expending energy in digesting food, that your body has time now to regenerate itself. And so when you look at the positive outcome of what you can get, not just spiritually, but physically, it's a win-win situation. So you could take on a small fast. I encourage people, as long as your health can withstand it, and I'm not telling people to do anything that if you have, existing conditions, that you should take on what Debbie and I took on, but we were in a good state of health where we could take on something like this. And you could even go on a fast where you just go on a Daniel fast and you just have fruits and vegetables. And you lay off of the meat, and you come off of the sugar, and you come off of the processed food and the carbs. And that's very beneficial for your health. So there are different ways that you can take baby steps into fasting. And you don't have to go as hard as we did where we came off of all together and we just did water. So, there are different fasts you can do 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can fast. Debbie and I fast on Wednesdays as a regular practice. We fast every Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That is just what we have committed to do on an ongoing basis. So there are ways that you can introduce fasting into your life, and baby steps. Yep, Mimi, baby steps. And then as you get accustomed to fasting, you can then start to stretch yourself and take on a new kind of fast for, you can fast for 24 hours, or like I said, you can do a Daniel fast, you could do it for 7 days, or whatever it is that you feel like you could take on. But I will say this, in all of the fasting, it's not all about weight loss, because we are fasting for spiritual reasons. So if you're going to fast for weight loss, then it is what it is. You're fasting for weight loss. If you're fasting for a spiritual journey, then you also need to make sure that you set aside time for that consecration, and you make sure that you set aside time to be in prayer, to be in your word, to be in your praise and worship.
That's right.
Okay, because if you set out on a fast and you're supposed to be fasting for spiritual reasons, and you never fast, you let 24 hours come and go, and you have not spent any time in prayer, and you have not read your word or listened to your word, then you are on a diet.
Yes.
You are on a restrictive diet. Okay, so for us, we don't want to push fasting for weight loss, because that was a benefit for it, but that was not the purpose. We are fasting to hear the voice of God. We are fasting to get into divine alignment. We are fasting so that we know how to prepare ourselves for the upcoming season and upcoming year.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Mimi.
Allison,
yes.
Losing weight, using the fat, doing a fast specifically to lose weight has its benefits. It really does.
It does.
However,
it does.
Doing a fast for spiritual reasons has the icing on the cake is the weight loss. But the benefit is beyond weight loss. Far beyond weight loss.
Yes.
Because, you can gain weight back, just looking at food. You can gain that weight back.
Sure.
But the spiritual benefits of it, I can't even, I don't even know. I'm sure even we don't even know how beneficial it was spiritually at this point. But we know it was. Like, we're going to see things down the line and say, God, thank you that I was able to lay my plate down for XYZ amount of days.
Yes.
Because that helped me here. 5 years down the line, you go back down and think that, thank God I was able to consecrate myself before the Lord. And now I'm seeing that it's critical to do it more than just once in a lifetime. Because once again, when you suggested doing it 30 days again, I was like, Allison.
Sure.
But I'm going to do it.
Allison and her bright ideas again, right?
Yeah, I was like, she got to stop us to death. But you know what? I never felt like I was starving. And then this morning when I woke up and didn't have all these kind of appetites that I was anticipating and I was going to just feed on, and, I'm down in Waffle House land.
Oh,
and
I love
I
Waffle
wouldn't
House.
walk in a Waffle House place now.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't even take the food would taste like trash. I know it. My palate has literally changed, which is what I wanted, but I didn't ask for it. Like, I was just like, God changed the way I eat, but I didn't expect him to change the way my tongue felt.
Right.
Or my taste buds.
Certain things won't taste the same. They won't taste the same, and you won't be able to eat in the same quantity that you're used to eating.
I thought I could. Last night I had my okra, and I only had a handful, which was good, at like 12:02. But if I had more, I know I couldn't have eaten it.
No, you can't. Your stomach will start to lock up. Your stomach is completely shut down for 10 days. It's not used to processing anything. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. And that's the other thing that we have to say. When you come off of a fast like what we were on, there is a way to reintroduce food into your body. You cannot just decide to be greedy. Like, I could not be my old greedy self today and decide I'm going to go to Longhorns and Steakhouse and go have a big old fat steak. You can't do that. You have to take baby steps into reintroducing food into your stomach again until your stomach gets accustomed to digesting that food. So,
but what I think, Allison, is that the mind shifts too, because mentally I didn't even want any more. my mind was like, I'm done. Like, before, I eat until everything is done.
Mm-hmm.
But my thought processes have changed. Like, food is not a priority, period. It's just not anymore. Before, I had to have my three square meals plus all my snacks, and that's the point that I had gotten to. And but this time around, it's like, this morning, because I had to rip and run and do some stuff, I had some water, and I will go and get something to eat. There's some more okra at the cook. But I don't have the thought to get up and determine all I'm going to eat for the day.
Yeah, it's no longer a priority.
That's
food
right.
Food was a priority for me. And like I said, for me, food was actually entertainment. It was something to do, something to fill my time. But food has lost its priority in my life. And once I realized that, and even I told you this whole fast, my stomach did growl. I'm not going to say my stomach didn't growl. My stomach growled, but it was my stomach growling, but my mind, I wasn't mentally hungry.
That's the ticket. That's the word. Mentally hungry. And a lot of times it's a mental hungry, because when I wasn't fasting, I don't ever remember being physically hungry. It was always mental, because I ate too much to be physically hungry.
Okay.
Like, how could I be hungry? I just ate, a couple of hours ago. But it was a mental hunger.
Right.
Which is an addiction.
Yeah.
Just like a crackhead is mentally hungry for some crack.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't have called it that at the time. I just would have said, for me, I was just hungry, but I wasn't hungry. I mentally wanted something, and I craved it. Whatever it was.
Yeah, and you realize that the volume of food that we, let me speak for myself, the volume of food that I was capable of eating was unnecessary.
Man, my brothers are 240 pounds, 6'2", and you look at my plate and look at theirs, and you would think I was a 240, 6'2", because they eat smaller portions now. Once they came past their teenage years, my brothers don't eat large.
Okay.
But me, I eat because maybe tomorrow I won't have any food. And not that I've ever been food deprived, but I eat to fill my plate up. There's no space on my plate when I sit down to eat. That doesn't make sense. I'm only 5'5", right? And I'm eating like a 6'3" linebacker.
Right.
That's it. Because I tell you, I had less than a handful of okra last night, and I was satisfied.
Yes.
And it was healthy.
I baked my squash last night, and I had it, and I was very satisfied. I was very happy with it. But I'll tell you, let's just talk about the last 48 hours of this fast and what the mind does for you.
Let's keep that a secret. No.
Let's be transparent. I have to be honest. Well, I'll speak for myself.
What?
The last 48 hours of this fast, you guys, was worse than the first 38 days.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. It was once I saw the end at the light of the tunnel, and just the thought that
you wanted to run towards the light fast.
Yeah, just the thought that I could have food today. The last 48 hours, it was hard. Like I said, it was literally harder to get through the last 2 days than it was to get through the first 38. Which is crazy, and that shows you how much power the mind has. Because that was just a mental thing. That wasn't a physical thing.
That's where accountability comes in.
Yeah.
That's where I got a text from you, or you got a text from me, and we would say, girl, I want to eat, but we didn't, because there was two of us together. When it's just yourself, you have nobody to kind of knock that around with.
Yeah.
You walk past that fridge and say, I'll just get one grape. And one grape is going to lead to the whole vine.
Right.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I actually had to close my eyes and take a nap because I couldn't wait for midnight to come.
Yeah.
And I said, that's crazy, right? I was able to start this fast and know I couldn't eat for 40 days, but I got down to now the last 6 hours or 8 hours, whatever it was, and I'm about to bounce off the wall because I can't wait till midnight so I can put food in my mouth.
But that was all mental because it wasn't physical.
Yeah, it wasn't physical. I didn't feel any different physically yesterday than I felt throughout the rest of the fast. It was that mental bondage. I'm going to call almost like that bondage to food trying to come back.
I can't wait. And I had a whole list of things I wanted to eat, and all I did was okra because really I didn't want anything. I didn't want anything on that list. I had the okra, a few plantains, chipped, and then that was like and that was it.
Yeah.
And I was satisfied. So overall, I am so pleased that we did it.
I am too. I am too. When I was out this morning, I ran out to the store. I was just trying to really kind of like assess how I felt physically and mentally, because I'm telling you, when I got dressed this morning, believe it or not, I'm dressed in all black. I got on my black jeans and my black t-shirt, but I looked in the mirror and I was like, wow, I could see, yes, the enemy knew I was within my goal. Absolutely. And that's how the enemy typically would trip me up, Mimi, and I would go grab a fork and stick my fork in something that, my kids had on the stove. So I went to sleep. I just took a nap. I went to sleep for like 2 or 3 hours yesterday because I didn't want to fall into that. Because if you fall into that now, I would have been fasting today to make up for yesterday.
Yeah, and who wants the guilt?
And I don't want to do that.
What he does is he lays you. Once you trip, he now throws the guilt on you like icing. Like you're guilty. See, we avoided all that guilt by taking a nap, because I too took a nap. I took a nap yesterday and the day before when I felt like I wanted something mentally.
Right.
I was like, let me just take a nap.
Right.
So that was the thing to do. But Allison, I got to scoot. I've got to drive to South Carolina.
Oh, safe travel and mercies to you. All right. But enjoy your...
I so enjoyed being on.
Yep. I'm getting ready to get off too because I got things to do. I got to get to the gym and I got somewhere else I need to be by 1. So anyway, thank you for joining me this morning, Debbie, and I will talk to you soon. All right? Bye-bye. Okay. Bye-bye. Mimi says safe travel and mercies. All right. So you guys, I hope this was beneficial. Anybody that is thinking about fasting, I encourage you to fast. We are going to be fasting again during the month of August. We have not mapped out exactly what type of fast that we are going to do. I think it's going to be a hybrid again where it will be liquids, and then a portion of it will be, I'm thinking towards the end of August, a portion of it will be a water fast, maybe 7 days of water towards the end. But we're going to lock down and we're going to do this again, because for myself, like I said, I was not in my Bible the way I wanted to be when I set out on this fast. And so I feel like on a personal level, I need to redeem myself. And so we are going to fast again for the month of August. We're going to give ourselves two weeks to eat. And also, I personally take a lot of supplements that require food, and I didn't want to be off of my supplements that long. So, I'm giving myself 2 weeks so that I could build my body back up that way and get my supplements and things like that in my body. But we will be fasting for the month of August. If anybody is interested in joining us on this next fast, reach out to me. You can leave it in the comments or, send me a private message. As we get closer to the beginning of the fast, I'll come back on and lay out the details of whatever we've mapped out for this next fast. And we'll open it up and we'll invite other people to come on, or join us on the fast, okay? And with that, I'm going to say thank you, guys. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. This is take number 3. We had to start over about 3 times today because we couldn't get Facebook to allow Debbie to be on screen with me. The point of this was to have her on screen with me, but we couldn't get Facebook to connect her. So I apologize for the delay. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I hope this kind of gives you insight into fasting. And anybody who has questions about fasting, I've done pretty much every type of fast that there is, from a dry fast, which is no food, no water, no nothing to drink. I fast frequently 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I have done Daniel fasts, which is just fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, and berries. Clearly, I have done the water fast. I've done every type of fast that I'm aware of. I have done it from 1 day to 3 days to 7 days to 21 days to 40 days, 30 days. Every interval, every type of fast that I'm aware of, I have done it. So I don't consider myself an expert in it, but I do have experience. And yeah, maybe like I said, Debbie and I, we fast every Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., liquids only. And then we come off at 6 p.m. and this way she can cook dinner for her son and she can sit down at the table and eat dinner with her son. And so we tailored our Wednesday fast that way to fit her lifestyle and But that, let me just back up. I heard a preacher say last month, when you reach a certain level in your walk with God, if you let 7 days go by without fasting, he was like, you need to step up your game. So and years ago, I used to fast every Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. with nothing. Not a dry fast, but I would pretty much water fast every Wednesday as a practice of life. And then once I stopped working, I kind of fell out of that, and I mentioned it to Debbie, and so she said, I'm down. She always says I'm down. Every bright idea I come up with, Debbie's down to join me. So we decided that we would fast on Wednesdays, but she does have a son, and he likes for her to have dinner with him. So we said, okay, that's cool. We'll fast every Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. liquids only. So we do our smoothies or we juice. And then 6 p.m. that frees her up to sit down and have a meal at the table with her son, which I think is right. So, you guys can join us on our weekly Wednesday fast if you want. You just have that window from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And you could, even if you wanted to do a Daniel fast from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and just lock it down where you have fruits and vegetables up until dinner time, and then you have a regular dinner. That's another nice way to ease into fasting. But for me, like I said, where we are in the days and times and the things that are going on, I just feel like it's time for me, where I am in my walk with the Lord, to live a fasted life. So I have to fast on a weekly basis, 1 day a week, and I will fast for most of the month of August. I just have one friend that I need to visit, and I don't think I'm going to fast while I am visiting her, but might be 1 day, maybe maximum 2. So I'm going to go into the fast knowing that whenever I go pay my friend a visit, I won't be fasting in her presence. But for the rest of the month of August, I will be fasting. All right. And my goal for myself is to up my game in terms of spending the time in my Bible. My prayer life is good. My praise and worship is good. I'm good with listening to the audio Bible and going to sleep with the audio Bible on, but that's not the same as making a conscious effort to either sit down and open your physical Bible, or if you want to read the Bible app, sitting down and spending time in the Word, and that's where I fall short. So that will be my personal goal for the month of August. All right. And then I'm going to try, I really laid low, tried to not come on and be preoccupied with social media for like I said, the last week and a half, just because I knew I was coming down out of this fast, and it was winding down, and I wasn't where I wanted to be spiritually. So I needed to minimize the distractions, and social media is definitely a distraction. So I had to kind of lay low on social media, but I would like to come back now that this fast is over and start to do morning prayer on some level. So hopefully I will do that this week. I'll start to come back maybe 1 to 2 days a week, and we'll do morning prayer. All right. But you ladies, thank you so much for giving me your time. I hope this was beneficial. I would love for you guys to either join me on a Wednesday fast or some part of the month of August when we lock down. Even if you just take on 3 days out of the month, I would love to have you come on and fast with us. All right. So I love you ladies. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you soon. All right. I love you ladies. I appreciate you. You too, Kimberly and Mimi, always have my back. You always support me, and I acknowledge it, and I say thank you. All right, so have a great day. I got to go run out, and like I said, I got to be somewhere by 1 o'clock. I don't know what time it is, but I got to run. All right, have a wonderful day. Mimi and Kimberly, love you both. Have a great day. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.